Okay, so thank you and welcome to our presentation on Le Boat. Some of you are familiar to us, and some of you welcome. We've never met you before. Great to have you along. We do have a couple of guests that are with Expedia Cruises from different areas, from Montreal, and we welcome them. And Lisa Maclean, I don't know where she's up in my left screen, the one waving. She's going to join us in just a second and give us the presentation about Le Boat. Uh, Again, if you have questions, throw them up on the side. We've got a couple of people here that have been on Le Boat. I was on Le Boat. Bev has been on Le Boat. So we have some, Barbara's been there. So we have some, personal experience and as to really how truly easy it is. Marianne's been on it. And so you'll get some really good firsthand, realistic uh, answers to your questions. So I'm gonna turn it over to Lisa, and Lisa, you can start your presentation again. If anybody's a little late, well, they'll catch up with us.
Great. Well, thank you so much for everyone to join us. I'm looking forward to presenting to you today. So my name is Lisa. I am the National Sales Manager and Marketing Manager for Le Boat in North America. So I'm super excited to tell you about a private boating holiday and opportunities that you can do this summer. So just in case you're not familiar, Le Boat has been around for 50 years. All of our boats do not need a boater license or any previous boating experience. I know a lot of people who live in Ontario think you may need an Ontario boater permit, but when you are renting a vehicle, you do not need a boat license. So you can rent one of our boats on the Reno Canal without having any previous boating experience. We do operate across Europe. So we have been in Europe for over 50 years, and we have a fleet of over 950 boats in Europe and recently expanded into the Canadian waterways. So Le Boat is a modern houseboat experience. So it's not really like a typical houseboat. It's more of a cruising yacht or a cabin cruiser. We are a COVID-friendly travel option, so you can safely travel within your own social bubble in groups of 12 and under. And we do give you a fully in-depth boat training, which I can go into in more detail later. But we do make sure that you are fully competent in driving the boat before we let you just go off on your vacation. But our boats are super easy to drive. They have balanced stern thrusters. The controls have been dumbed down a little bit versus a complicated navigation system. And we teach you how to go through the locks, do all the safety features, and then also teach all of your crew on what their jobs would be when they go through the locks, as well as when you tie up at the dock and things like that. And one of the best things about Le Boat is if you do like a flexible holiday, it's very, very similar to renting an RV or renting a car. There's no set itinerary. You just rent the boat for 3 or 5 or a week holiday, and you can go anywhere you want on the canal as long as you have the boat back on the day that your rental ends. So we are the market leader. So Le Boat is the #1 boat rental company in Europe. Our sister companies are the Moorings and Sunsail. So we do have combined over 100 years experience dealing with boat renting and boat charters. And then we have been in business, like I said, for over 50 years. We are very financially stable. We're backed by a large financial institution, as well as we are TICO certified. So you can book with confidence and know that we're going to be around to deliver your holiday and provide you with exceptional service. I'm just going to play a little video that shows you what a Le Boat experience is like. It may be hard to hear the sound, but it's a good overview. Can you hear the sound? I want to see how the world turns around. Let's go adventure in the deep blue sea. Home is with you wherever that may be. Home is with you wherever that may be. So with the boats, so when you're renting one of our boats, you are living on board the boat. So it is your hotel, your floating cottage, your floating home for the week. It does come with a fully equipped kitchen. But the great thing about renting a canal cruiser is you can park anywhere along the canal. And then usually the parking spots are directly located in a downtown core or in a small little village. So you can hop off, go wine tasting, go to the local restaurants, visit the local historical castles or historical sites. You can spend the afternoon and go kayaking or swimming or biking. So there's lots of flexibility on making this vacation as relaxing or as active as you want. Our destinations in Europe include England, Scotland, Ireland, France, the Netherlands, Italy, Belgium, and Germany. France is our biggest destination, and we offer 9 different cruising regions. So you can go to the Camargue, the Aquitaine, Brittany, Burgundy, do wine tasting in the Loire Valley, the Alsace, and the Lot. But we're more than happy to provide Elliot and his team all the information about all of our different destinations in Europe. And our newest destination is the UNESCO World Heritage site, the Rideau Canal, that's located between Ottawa and Kingston. So a boating holiday is perfect for anyone who likes an outdoor water adventure. So if you like cruising, if you like being outdoors, this is a great holiday for you. It's perfect for the whole family, multi-generations. And as you can see from the video, we're also pet friendly. So if you do have a dog or cat or other pets that you like to travel with, we are a pet friendly holiday. And then 50% of our clients have never been on a boat before. They have never done any boating whatsoever. They've never tied a dock line before. So you can be confident that you too will be able to operate one of our boats. And it's perfect for those looking for an independent outdoor experience. And again, you're visiting lots of the small towns and villages along the canal. So I think given the current COVID situation, you're supporting local business owners who are really looking forward to welcoming people to their towns and villages just to help them be sustainable. And then it's a very relaxing holiday. You're not going super fast on the canal, so you get to sit back, de-stress, unplug, and just enjoy the sunshine around you. If you are traveling with teenagers or grandchildren, this is a very brag-worthy holiday, and they'll be able to take lots of fantastic Instagram and Facebook pictures and brag to all of their friends that they're cruising on the canal on their own private boat. So this is a picture of the boats that we have in Canada. This is the Horizon Cruiser. So as you can see, all of our boats come with a bumper pad that's all the way around. So if you do happen to bump into something, you're not going to do any damage to the boat. Typically on other boats, you might see the fenders hanging down. The boat has actually built them in, so you don't have to pull the fenders up and put them back down again. All of our boats do come with umbrellas or a built-in bimini. There's lots of seating on the top deck, as well as seating and lounge areas all along the front of the boat. There's seating at the back of the boat, as well as all of our boats. You can also get a top deck barbecue, and there's lots of seating and kitchen area on top. And all of our boats also are equipped with like lots of very tall, bright windows. So you never really feel like you're in an enclosed space. And as you can see, our boats float at water level, and all the bedrooms and cabins are actually above the water line. The cruising on the canal is also very, very calm. So it's not like a typical sailboat or a monohull boat where you may feel seasickness. The boat, you're not going underground to go to sleep. So you do have a very peaceful sleep without feeling seasick. Our boats in Europe, like I mentioned, we have 950 different boats in Europe. Some of our boats are older, so they are considered to be budget. So we have budget, comfort, and comfort plus boats. And all I've ever traveled on in Europe is our budget boats. I would just say that they're lovely. They're still well equipped. It comes with everything that you would need, including all of your dishes, all of your kitchen utensils, towels, sheets. It's really perfect for a holiday. The only difference between the budget boats and our more premium boats is the age of the boats. And the newer boats also have a more IKEA style inside with lots of grays and whites. And the older boats are just much more traditional with more wood interior and more teak. But any boat that you rent would be perfectly suitable. And in Canada, because we're the newest destination and they had to build the boats here to fit Transport Canada boating regulations, including changing all of the power, all of the fixtures, providing a reinforced steel hull because of our rocky waterways. All of the boats are brand new in Canada, and they are only our Horizon Cruiser, but they are our most premium boat. And any of the boats that you'd be cruising on in Canada are likely to be only 1 or 2 years old, and our oldest boat would only be 3 years old. So this is our boat. Our most popular boat is the Horizon Fleet, and it ranges in size from 2 bedrooms all the way up to 5 bedrooms. All of the kitchens have the same layout. So as you can see, there's lots of ample space for seating. All of the boats come with a stove and an oven, as well as a microwave. They come with a TV and refrigerators, and it comes with all of the dishes and everything that you would need. And again, it comes with all the linens, all of the bedding, all of the towels. So basically you just need to bring your clothing and any food or groceries that you want to have on board. All of our boats also have a lovely top deck with barbecue, lots of seating area. There's a swim platform and a ladder as well on all of our boats. So if you do want to drop anchor or go swimming, there's lots of opportunities and easy for everyone to get on and off the boats. And if you check with Elliot, we would be able to provide you with deck plans for all of our boats. So this is a typical deck plan. So it shows that this boat is actually a 4-bedroom cabin. So the side cabins can be split into single or double. And the fantastic thing about the Horizon Cruiser is every single cabin has its own bathroom and shower. So if you are traveling with a group of people or you're traveling with your teenage children, you're not sharing the bathrooms with them, which is fantastic. So we are expecting, similar to last year, due to different COVID travel restrictions, we're hoping to have a fantastic year on the Rideau Canal. We are already 35% up in sales versus last year. So it is starting to fill up very quickly. And as the temperature is getting warmer, we are getting busier and busier on the phone. So please reach out to Elliot as soon as possible to make sure that you get the boat that you want on the weekends that you want, because we are selling out pretty quickly. So I'll just go a little bit. Most of you are probably interested in the Rideau Canal. So the Rideau Canal is our newest destination. It is 202-kilometer continuous waterway stretching from Ottawa to Kingston. I think everyone is familiar with the waterway in Ottawa and very familiar with it being a skating rink, but a lot of people don't know that it's connected to huge wide open lakes, beautiful pristine waterways. So it's a very unique waterway. So you're winding through open forest and little nooks and crannies, as well as going through lots of little small towns and villages. It is Ontario's only UNESCO World Heritage Site, and they're designated as UNESCO because they haven't made any technology changes on the canal since 1832. And all of the locks are still operated by hand, and everything is done by the Parks Canada staff. So going through a lock is super easy. And in Ontario, we have a fleet of 24 boats ranging in size from 2 bedrooms to 5 bedrooms. And the cruising season in Canada is Victoria Day long weekend until Thanksgiving Day long weekend. So from May 21st to October 11th. So on the Rideau Canal, it does stretch, as I said, from Kingston all the way down to up to Ottawa. And our base is located in Smith Falls. So we did pick Smith Falls because it's the perfect center of the canal. So if you were doing a 1-week trip, you would cruise from Ottawa back to Smith Falls, or in 7 days, you could cruise from Kingston and back. Our most popular for the Canadian and local travelers is probably our 4-night and our 5-night cruise. And typically on a 4 or 5-night cruise, you would make it all the way to Westport or to Jones Falls or Sealy's Bay and back to Smith Falls. But if you wanted to go to Ottawa, you'd probably need a minimum of 7 nights. But our team can work with you, provide you with sample itineraries, and let you know exactly where you could go based on the time that you have. And we have lots of different sample itineraries we can provide to you. We tell you how many lock stations you'll be going through, what is the cruising time, and then we give you a brief description as well as a very detailed 76-page book. So you know exactly at each lock station, what is the local site, what's the history of it, if you're close to a town, what are the top restaurants, where are the best ice cream shops. So we can provide you with all that information to help you with your trip planning. And then a lot of people who've never been on a houseboat before wonder what a typical day looks like. So I thought I'd just briefly show you what one day on a boat would look like. So typically you'd wake up around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. If you're my boyfriend, you probably wake up around 5 o'clock. So he's up early to put the coffee on and wake me up. You can enjoy your coffee at sunrise on the top deck. There's a big kitchen on board, so you can make your own breakfast, or you can ride your bike into town and grab some fresh croissants or muffins and enjoy them on the boat. And typically the locks open between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. So you would get ready to go through your first lock. And typically your day of cruising would last anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours to get to the next lock station or get to the next town. But if you are cruising, you can drop anchor at any time. You can go swimming, go kayaking, go fishing, or you can just moor at the lock stations or moor into the towns and go to the farmers markets. You can visit local wineries. You can go shopping, or you can just sit back, relax, read a book, listen to music, chit chat, and just enjoy the sunshine on the top deck while you're cruising. A lot of people choose to go into town for dinner at the local restaurants, or you can make a full meal with everything that you bought at the farmer's market and enjoy it on the top deck. And a perfect evening to me is ending the evening with a nice bottle of wine, a cheese platter on the top deck, looking at the stars. And when I travel with my family, we like to have fun game nights on board, but a lot of the lock stations in Canada also have campfires, lots of hiking trails. So you really have a full day of activity that keeps everybody at all different ages all entertained for the whole day. We do think that cruising on the Rideau Canal is the quintessential Canadian holiday. If you picture May 2-4 or May long weekend, you picture yourself on the waterway in your deck chair, enjoying some wine or craft beer, watching the fireworks, getting out on the water, spending time with your family and friends, and just having a fantastic long weekend, enjoying a barbecue. So all of these activities can be done from your boat. So it is very similar to a floating cottage. So you have everything that you need. You're in a self-contained, very safe environment. And you choose if you're going to go into town, or some people choose just to anchor. They love one location, and you could spend your whole trip just at that one lock station or that one area. So it's really, really flexible. One of the fantastic things about cruising into Ottawa is they typically have fireworks for Canada Day, for Victoria Day, and they have a fireworks festival. So this was a couple years ago when we parked literally downtown Ottawa. We put on the Benson and Henson music festival on the radio and watched the fireworks from the boat, and had a fantastic evening. And that went on for 5 days. So we just every evening enjoyed our wine, enjoyed our dinner to the fireworks over the Parliament building. Again, as I mentioned, we are pet friendly, we're family friendly, we're kid friendly, and we're adult friendly. So it's perfect for the multi-generation holiday. The kids love it, and your pets will love it too. So it's probably one of those holidays your kids will never say they're bored. They'll never ask what is there to do, because every day is different. So you're always going to enjoy it, and there's something for everyone. And we do provide you with lots of tools when you book a LeBoat holiday. So we do provide you with a full Rideau guidebook so you can plan your trip. So this to me is like a Lonely Planet's guide to the Rideau Canal, or we have it for the Canal de Midi, for Ireland and Scotland. We have it for every destination that we go to. So you do get a guidebook so you can know what every single lock station or every town offers. When you're on your boat, we provide you with all of the equipment you need, all of the maps, all of the gear, so you don't have to do any investment into any gear or anything like that. All of that comes on the boat. And you can work with Elliot's team, and we can send you a link to our digital brochure as well. So again, if you've never boated before, we do teach you everything you need to know. Most of our boats have bow and stern thrusters. So this is the little stern thruster here. So literally it's like a joystick, and you just push a button and it'll literally push the boat sideways. It'll make you spin around 360. So it really makes parking a breeze, and you can easily get into the lock stations. So we've also dumbed down the control. So we just have a speed gauge, you have a steering wheel, and then you have a power thruster. So you literally just go forward or backward, and then use your thrusters in order to help navigate as well. So our team does take you through plan at least an hour and a half to 2 hours prior to when you want to depart, because we do take you through everything you need to know about being on the boat, right down to how do you turn on the deck lights, how do you turn on the air conditioning, how do you turn on the heater, how do you light a gas stove. We also take you through all the navigation and safety. We ask that your whole crew attend some of the safety briefing, because we teach everybody how to tie a dock line, how do they work the ropes, and a lot of boat safety. And then if you have any questions, we do have a 24-hour helpline. So at any time during your cruise, if you have any questions, if you run into any technical problems, our crew is just a 1 hour drive away from you. So they'll always be able to assist. For anyone who's never done a boating holiday before, it can be a bit daunting. So we've really broken it into 3 different buckets. So your first step of booking a holiday is to work with your travel agent to find which destination in Europe or Canada you'd like to cruise. The next step is to let your travel agent know how many people you're traveling with. Do you want to have your own private cabins? Are your team willing to share a cabin? And then we can help pick a boat that fits your budget as well as your travel style. And then you get to choose your extras. So the boat has grocery packs, stand-up paddle boards, bikes, and other things you can add on to the boat to make your holiday that much more customized. We did implement a very strict COVID safety procedures at our bases. So all of our boats are extensively cleaned before you get on. We do have social distancing practicing. All of our base team does wear masks and ask that the customers wear masks during training as well. And again, we have streamlined our check-in process to make sure only one group of people are checking in at a time. We're staggering the check-in time so people aren't there in a crowd waiting to talk to the base team. So we are following all the procedures that are necessary. We also know that it's a very uncertain time to be booking travel. So if you have to cancel your trip for any reason due to COVID, we do have a refund guarantee that we've implemented this year. We also offer total flexibility. So if you did have a trip planned for June, but you don't feel comfortable going in June, we can move your booking to September, or we can move your booking to 2022 or 2023, and we're waiving all change fees. Again, we are financially stable. We've been around for 50 years, and we're also a TICO certified company as well. So any money you do provide to us is protected. So you can trust that you're booking with a company that's been around for a very long time. The biggest question we get is how much does it cost to rent a boat? So our boats do vary. Again, in Europe, we have our budget and our comfort boats. So you can rent a boat as little as $969 for 7 nights. The boat rental price is a per boat price and not a per person price. So it is very, very similar to renting a car or an RV. We don't really we don't ask you how many people are going to be on your boat, or you could book a boat for 4 people, but if it sleeps up to 8 people, you can bring 8 people with you. So it is a per boat price, not a per person price. And then the price of the boat does range depending on when you're traveling. So of course, July and August are our most popular cruising months. So that would be a lot more expensive than traveling in June or September. But Elliot and his team can help you with the quotes. As I mentioned, on the Rideau Canal, we only have our premium boats, our Horizon Cruiser. So the pricing on the Rideau Canal will seem much more expensive than cruising, say, in Ireland, only because we only have our 5-star boats on the Canadian waterways. But in Ireland, we have our 3 and 4-star boats, so the price may be a bit cheaper. And then again, we can customize your experience. We can add on kayaks and bikes or stand-up paddle boards, or we can add on grocery packs. So if you are traveling to Europe and know that you're going to be arriving late, we can pre-order groceries and have them on board for you, so you don't have to worry about having breakfast or even wine to enjoy on your top deck on your first evening. So we do have very, very reasonable pricing. Because you are local, if you're coming from Ottawa or driving to the base, we are very happy for you to bring your own bikes or your grandchildren's bikes. If you have a kayak that you want to bring, feel free to bring that. There's no extra charge. And then if you are cruising, and want to go fishing, we just remind everyone that is available, but you do need to make sure you have a fishing license. And we can provide you with the information to get a fishing license. It costs about $8 a day or $15 for the week. So it is very, very affordable if you want to go fishing. And then the other cost of renting a boat, of course, there's fuel. So very similar to renting a car, you do get the boat 100% topped up with fuel. But unlike a rental car, if you haven't used all the fuel in the tank, we actually give you a refund back. So the cost of the fuel is typically, for a 7-night cruise, the deposit would be $450. But if you haven't used all of the gas, you're probably going to get that back. And on average, if you're cruising for a week, you probably would not go through more than $200 on the Rideau Canal. Our boats are very, very fuel efficient. And because you're only going a maximum of 10 kilometers an hour, which is the speed limit of the canal, you're not burning a lot of the fuel. It's not like you're a speedboat that's going 70 kilometers an hour for 2 hours straight. So it is a very, very fuel efficient boat. Similar to a rental car, we do have a daily insurance rate. So that ranges anywhere from $42 to $65 a day. And then once you pay your daily rate, similar to a rental car, I think a rental car takes a deposit of $1,500 on your credit card when you check in. We only take a credit card deposit of $1,135 at the base. And as soon as you bring the boat back and there's no damage to it, we literally give you the deposit on your credit card back. You could totally sink the boat or do lots of damage to the boat, but the most you would lose is your deposit, which is $1,135. I can reassure you that no one has sunk our boats yet on the Rideau Canal. And 99% of the time, people do get their deposit back. We've only had some instances where people have lost a life jacket or weren't paying attention and damaged their prop a little bit, but 99% of the people get their money back, similar to a rental car. Or you can totally waive the daily rate. Similar to a rental car, you can waive the insurance. But if you waive the insurance, the daily rate, the deposit at the base is $4,000. And again, you can totally damage the boat, and the most you will be charged is only $4,000. All of our check-ins is similar to a hotel room. So check-in is at 4 o'clock. Or at 2 o'clock. But if you wanted to check in early, you can pay $145 and arrive early. And that means you just get out on the first day of your cruise. Or if you want extra time on your very last day, we do have late checkout. So that allows you to stay on the boat until noon versus 9 o'clock in the morning. And then for the Rideau Canal, We do charge $127 for 7 nights or $79 for short breaks, but that does include all of the lockage fees. It includes moorings at all of the lock stations, as well as moorings at some of the local harbors along the Rideau Canal. So this is a very good rate because typically every time you go through a lock, it's about $2 a foot, and our boats start at 40 feet. So if you were a normal cruiser, you would have to pay up to $80 just to go through each of the locks, and up to $80 for parking every single night that you're parking as well. So it is a very, very good deal. For anybody who is booking with Expedia Cruise Ship Centers, we're happy to announce we are giving you an exclusive offer of up to $100 off your LeBoat vacation if you book before March 31st. So this is combinable with any other sale offer we have in the marketplace. So just let Elliot's team know that you did do the WebEx, and they will apply this special offer to your booking. And then Elliot is also, he's planning to do a group flotilla on the Rideau Canal. So he has booked out, I think, 4 boats the week of June 8th. So he is going to be leading the group and guiding you. So if you are interested in having a pre-guided tour, I'll be on and checking in on you guys too to make sure you're having lots of fun and you don't need anything else, or you're not missing anything from your boats. I can bring extra wine if you need it, or extra towels. Just give me a call and I'll run it up to the lock station. But we are looking forward to hosting you guys this year on the Rideau Canal. And it's super fun if you are traveling in a group. If you have lots of neighbors and friends, a flotilla is a really good group option because that means every family can be on their own boat as well. So I'll let Elliot tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks, Lisa. It's always a good presentation. And the picture that's up there now, I think that might be.
Yeah, this is Elliot's team on the boat.
I think that's Bridget, and I'm not sure if that's who's on the back there. That might even be me. That was the best view of the fireworks, and I've been in Ottawa for a lot of years, but they were right up in between the buildings there. It just was like they presented it for us. So yeah, my idea behind getting a little flotilla together, it's just a 3-night, was that a lot of people may have a little concern about it. And I thought, well, it's a great way to get into it and to learn and to be with a group, so that if you're feeling a little bit nervous, you've got somebody right next door. I do guarantee dolphin sightings on my tour. No, and it is as easy to drive these as Lisa suggested. They really only do 10 kilometers. If anything, I'd like them to do a little faster, but you are one of the bigger boats on the canal. So really the others have to watch out for you more than you have to watch out for them. After the 3rd canoe, we were fine. We didn't hit any more. No, we didn't. They stay away. They see you and they move right over to the side. But they are very, very easy to control. And that bow and stern thruster it's like a little picture of a boat. And if you move the top over, the boat goes this way or that way. And if you push it all over at once, it's like in your car, your seat, the electric seat. It's just like that. If you can use your electric seat in your car, right, you can drive this thing. Very, very easy to drive. Lots of space in them. That's the other thing. So if you had a couple of families, or bringing grandkids, the 2 to 3 bedrooms, and everybody's got their own bathroom. Is that on all the boats, Lisa?
Yeah, on all the boats in Canada.
Yeah, everybody's got their own. And the other thing too is you'll find that the lockmasters, they see a LeBoat coming and they're great. They have big smiles on their faces. They're ready to help you and get you in there. I had a boat a few years back, just a standard, 18-foot bow rider. It was a beautiful boat, but when you have a small boat like that, one of the things you learn fast is that boats that are not under power wander a lot. They're very hard. And when you get into a canal, into the locks, it's very difficult. These are much easier to dock than a smaller boat like that, okay? Because of the stern thrusters. So I'm really looking forward to it. I will also wanted something that was COVID friendly. I'm and being on the boat alone with my wife, it's great. And then, as Lisa was saying, if I'm outdoors at a fire and we're socially distanced from other people, that's great. Or if we go into town and do a little shopping, there's a lot of great shops along the way, local shops. I think it's a perfect getaway. And hands up anybody who doesn't want to get away, right? I mean, especially right now, we were all cooped up. And um, so I'm looking forward to it. So if you're interested, let me know. And I'd be glad to give you some information on that particular time. But you can certainly go on your own anytime during the summer. I will tell you, based on last year's experience, just like everything else, you need to start booking it now because it will fill up. The other thing, two people don't realize is the Rideau Canal to us is a little more familiar to a lot of people that come in from out of town. Um, it's a really interesting place to see. You've never seen it before, um, and as somebody who lives here, we get to see a whole different view of the canal. We've all seen it from the highway. We've all driven up the roads. We've all driven through that towns, but to see it from the other side, down the river, is quite unique. As Lisa, I just want to reiterate: you do not need a license. Okay, the training is adequate. Anyone, I think Bev, maybe if you can turn on your mic quickly, and Barbara, and no, you're not seeing double, folks. They really are two different people, Bev and Barb. Kind of look the same for some reason.
Yeah.
And the you guys had that experience of going out the first time, right? And how
Yeah.
long do you think it took you to you got comfortable?
Um, you know what? I think as Lisa said, it was probably an hour to an hour and a half that we had somebody from the base on the boat with us. My brother-in-law actually did the driving. I did some, but I only did it when it was straight and nothing around, and that. But he's never driven a boat that size. No problem at all moving it into the locks with the thrusters and that. He just was fine with it.
Right. So we've got a couple of questions here, and maybe I'll just kind of read them out for you, Lisa. So Wi-Fi on board. I don't think there's actual Wi-Fi on board, but our cell phones will provide us if you want to do email and catch up. Cell phones work the whole way down the canal.
Yeah, almost. I'd say there's almost 90% coverage. There's only one little lock station where it's so wooded and it's an unpopulated area that doesn't have cell phone coverage. But a lot of the towns now do offer free Wi-Fi connection as well when you're in the harbor. So Westport offers free Wi-Fi. Smith Falls is looking at offering it, and so is Merrickville. But I've never had problems using my cell phone when I'm on the Rideau Canal. I'm always texting with my friends. I'm bragging. I'm posting pictures on Facebook. Um, and especially when I'm drinking cocktails or having sunset with my feet up in the amazing views of the waterway. So, yeah, you always can be connected. Last summer, there was lots of people who in September did homeschooling from the boats as well as did lots of work. Typically, if I'm on the boat with my family, I usually work until noon and then we take off at noon. So I like to do my work on the boat and then go cruising for the afternoon. So you most likely won't have any Wi-Fi problems. If anyone's never cruised the Rideau Canal, it is very reminiscent to being on the Thousand Islands. So it is wide open, huge lakes once you get past Ottawa, which I was really surprised at. I always thought it was just as skinny as it is in Ottawa. So as per the picture that's on the screen, you can't see the other side of the lake. It is a very, very wide lake, but it is very well marked with buoys to help you navigate. But it does remind me of Muskoka or the Thousand Islands. And anyone who's cruised the European waterways, they say that the Rideau Canal has the best of all of Europe all in one spot because it has wineries, breweries, historical little towns, great shopping, as well as the fantastic outdoor wilderness. And of course, all of our waterways are pristine. We do not dump anything into the water. Unlike in some of the canals in Europe. So you can jump in the water at any time. It is very clean and pristine. One of the other questions too was someone asked about the fishing license. We do have a computer at the base and printer, so it is literally an online form. You can pay with your credit card, or you can actually get a fishing license at the Canadian Tire down the street from the LeBoat base. But we're more than happy to help you register for a fishing license, or you could even probably do it from your phone on the boat. Lots of people do catch pike. There's pike, wide mouth bass. We do have a really good blog on our website because we've talked to lots of anglers and fishermen. So they've shared with us a couple of their favorite fishing spots on the Rideau Canal. And there's a big bass tournament the first weekend in June. So you see a ton of fishermen out on the water around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And then lots of fishing too. We had someone last year with us who fished from just the kayak in Westport. So the fish is very, very plentiful on the Rideau Canal if you want to just catch and release or catch for dinner.
A couple of more questions. Alcohol on board.
So you can have alcohol on board, but you cannot have open alcohol while the boat is cruising. Even the driver, I think everyone knows that the driver can't drink and drive, but a Canadian law is that there's no open alcohol while the boat is cruising. That's why most people, I think, cruise after breakfast. So you can be docked and in port by noon and then start having your cocktails.
I thought you were going to say they don't leave till noon so you can have a mimosa first, then take off.
If you do want to have an afternoon cocktail, you can drop anchor. You just cannot have the boat under power. But I've never really seen enforcement on the Rideau Canal except for on long weekends. Or if you were on a boat with a bunch of young kids, I do think that they target the party boats. But we do highly encourage no drinking and driving. As I said earlier, you're probably only cruising from 1 to 2 hours a day unless you love just the act of being out on the water and cruising. But there is lots of opportunities. As soon as you park the boat or you're at harbor, you can open a beer and enjoy some alcohol.
Okay. Here's one. Can you dump gray water in the canal, i.e. sink and shower? You don't need to on those boats, right?
No, we actually
have the holding tanks.
Yeah, we have a huge holding tank. So we have 600 liters of water available on board. And we also have holding tanks that hold that much. So we actually try to be very green. All of our cleaning products that we use are green friendly products. We provide soap and just soap on board for you as well in Canada to make sure you're not using anything with sulfates. And we do ask that if you are bringing shampoo or soap, don't bring any with those little blue crystals because that is very bad for the waterway as well. But yeah, we don't encourage any dumping in the Rideau Canal. But I do think there is the sinks from brushing your teeth do go overboard, but everything else goes into a gray water and a black water holding tank. And then we do the pump outs at the base. It's very rare that you would need to pump out a boat if you're just on a short break. If you are on a boat with 12 people for a week, we do have recommended spots along the Rideau Canal where you can pump out just to be sure that you're not gonna fill up the tanks. But typically you probably wouldn't have to pump out unless you have a full boat for a week.
Okay, another question. I think this one's Audrey. Do you have suggestions where to stop and moor for the night and how far is it between stops? And actually you do, you've got every place along the way. Yeah. You can give suggestions and as to where to, do all the boats moor in the same place in each location?
Moor at all of the lock stations. So all of the lock stations have parking. And then when you arrive at some of the towns, so like Westport, for example, we have LeBoat designated spots for you. And if those spots are taken, there is lots of harbor space to park. The lock masters, they always ask you where you're cruising to or where you're hoping to go. And if those docks or moors are always, if you're there in July and it's super busy, then they'll tell you that there's no docking at the next lock station. So they'll encourage you to stay where you are or suggest where you can go, where you can do a mooring ball. But yeah, honest, the Reno Canal is very underutilized from a boating perspective. 80% of the boats that you do see on the waterway are private boaters who have cottages. So in the 3 years that I've been on with LeBoat, I've never had a problem finding dockage.
Yeah, and I think you'll find the lock masters are also great sources of information for local, as you get to a dock. They're really, they're doing that job in the summer because it's a great job to have, right? So they're very people friendly along the way. There was a question here about whether you can drink the water in the canal. So you answer at least. I have my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't, but
Yeah.
I'm picky. But the water that we put on the boats is drinkable water.
Right.
So the water on board is potable. You don't have to boil it. We do recommend if you need to get full water, we give you a list of people that have clean water. There's a couple marinas that can top you up with water, but we don't recommend it because it's not potable water. And then if you're swimming and swallow the water from the Rideau Canal, you won't get sick. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't dunk my thermos into the Rideau Canal and drink it. But I guess you could. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. When I swim, I'm one of those swimmers that,
Yeah.
has drinks, ends up with a
I
lot
know
of
even
water.
when I used to camp at the Algonquin, we used to have like a filter, but I
Right.
still wouldn't drink the water. But
Yeah,
the
and
water
actually,
on board is drinkable. But we also, if you wanted to bring on your own bottled water, you can also do that. There's lots of storage space on the boat if you wanted to bring a case of water. Or I like spring water for my morning coffee, so I just bring one of those 5-liter jugs of water that costs $4, and that's what I make my coffee with. So because I'm a coffee.
pet friendly. How do we handle the pet on there when the pet wants to go for a walk and it's like,
So
you're in the middle of the lake?
you can, at every single lock station, you can pull over at the dock and tie up and then let your dogs go for a walk. So again, you're only about an hour to 2 hours from the next lock station. So we do encourage that if you are traveling with pets, always just make sure you're at the dock. You can tie up and then you can let your dog do its business. You can park at the locks actually if you wanted to go for a bike ride, or if the kids are antsy and want to run around and play frisbee, you can always park at the locks for as long as you want. Or I've stopped lots of times to make lunch because I don't want to cook while I'm cruising. And I want to sit down and enjoy myself. So you can always pull over at the lock stations and have lunch, have a nice afternoon, even on the boat, and let the dogs go to the bathroom.
Right. Question: are there go slow zones? If yes, no wake. You're only doing 10 kilometers an hour. You're not throwing up much of a wake at all ever on those boats. If anything, I wish they went a little bit faster, but
Even if you're in the slow zones, the maximum speed of our boat is that slow zone.
Yeah. So it's 10 kilometers. And like I say, when you're out in the big Rideau, you kind of wish you had a little bit more, but you learn to just relax, chill, and enjoy the ride. And you get there when you get there, kind of thing. Does anybody have any further questions? Or I always have to give a little pitch here just to let you know that there's no benefit from booking directly with LeBoat. As a matter of fact, you may get a little benefit we've got a special offer for this. And if you bring any friends with you, we'll just, Lisa won't know who's exactly been on here. We're glad to add those friends to the list to give them the offer. Okay, so bring them along. I get this qualifies as a cruise, which means you'll also get the Expedia rewards, which you can use for other things. So some of you already have a consultant that you're dealing with. Great. And those that you don't, just call me at that number. Is that still on the screen, Lisa? You're still sharing?
Yep.
I'm not sure. The 327-6000. That will go right to my cell phone, which is somewhere. So if somebody rings it, I'll know where it is. There it is. And I'll get you set up with one of our consultants that is familiar with the product. But call out to your specific one if you already have a consultant. One last question, Lisa: are there heaters on the boat? So if it gets a little cool at night, yeah, the boat's fully equipped.
It has heaters on board. So every cabin has its own little heater control. Plus, there's one in the kitchen area. If you do think you're going to be extra cold, we do have extra space heaters as well as extra little fans at the base that we put on the boats. But the heaters do work super well. I have had to use the heater sometimes when I've traveled in September or October. And one weekend, even in May, I had to turn on the heater at nighttime. But it does work very, very, very quickly. And because the boats are enclosed, it doesn't take long to heat up the whole boat. I would think it's probably typical for, I think of it as your living room at home. The woman is always cold and the man is always hot. So it's similar to being at home because you're always fighting over the temperature.
Right.
But the boats do have good heaters, and they also have air cooling. It's not 100% like air conditioning, but it does have air cooling to take the heat off, or the edge off when you are on those super hot days in the summertime. And every cabin does have a little mini fan to help with the air circulation as well.
And if you're also looking for pricing, uh, compared to other holidays, there's no airfare needed here, at least from Ottawa. You can drive there. Parking is free right at Le Boat in Smiths Falls. So when you think about it, remember that cost is not part of the situation. Um, Anybody
Um,
have any other?
yeah, Elliot, it's
Yeah,
Bev.
yeah,
Lisa, I'm just wondering, last year when I went, there was talk that there might be screens put on the
Yep.
windows.
We did,
Are,
so the first year that we had the boats, because they were built in Europe, they didn't have an understanding of
no.
Canadian.
mosquitoes.
Of what a mosquito was.
Fully screened in porches on the back. So the back door does have a screen door like you would. And then because we know that Canadian mosquito season is very bad, we're actually putting screens on the side windows too. There were screens on the top windows
Hmm.
when you're in the cabins, but the side windows didn't have the screens.
Yeah,
So
in the
we are putting
kitchen.
the screens on the kitchen windows. So there's airflow through the boats, and that's
Excellent.
being done this year.
Oh, good.
But if you ever do go on any of our boats and have feedback, we do build the new boats every single year. We build 4 new boats, and every year they take our feedback and enhance the next models that are coming. So one of the feedback on our bigger boats was there was no plug, so I could do my work on the top deck. So they now have plugs on the top deck, so you can use your laptop on the top deck without having to plug it into a cigarette lighter or
Is
have a
that
long cord.
is that updated on all of them, or is that just on the newer ones coming in?
The screens are on all of the boats, so we're
Right.
retrofitting all of the boats.
Okay. I was
But
just thinking the power. There's a question about the heater being electric or fuel. It's electric, right? I'm assuming.
it's electric. So the biggest misconception we have from people who are boaters is they're very concerned if they don't have shore power. All of our boats have a bank of 8 to 12 huge batteries. And as you're cruising for the day, those batteries are self-charging. So
Right.
you can literally park and go for many days without having any power whatsoever. When I had the boats in Ottawa last year, we were in Ottawa for 4 days and we never plugged in once. So you can operate and have the power or your charge phone, or you can have electronics without having shore power. And then the boats are very, very smart because the starter is on its own battery. So if you left all the lights on, you would never not be able to start the boat. The refrigerators are on its own battery. So if you lost shore power, if you lost power in the lights because you left them on, you would never not lose essential things on the boat. So they are very, very smartly designed. But like I said, as you're moving the boat and the batteries are self-charging, probably 80% of the lock stations or the harbors that you're parking overnight do have shore power. So if you wanted that comfort level of plugging in, just to be sure, you can plug in for shore power as well.
Yeah,
But
these are very luxurious boats. These are not you're not camping. You're more like glamping. And one thing is, do you remember those Five Boy homes, the houseboats? Every now and then you'll see an old one go by, and you look and you compare, and it's like these are really it's a nice ship. You're a boat you're on, not a ship, but a boat you're on.
so our boats are built by a company called Beneteau, they
Hmm.
or Delphi Yachts. So Delphi Yachts was bought out last year by Beneteau, and if you are a boater or a cruiser, Beneteau is a very, very well-known boat builder. So they are built very high-end, and they're built now. The boat, after 50 years, we know how much room you need for your suitcase. Every single cabin has its own power outlet as well as USB charger, because we know everyone has lots of electronics. So they've really smartly designed the boats that we have in Canada based on years of experience and customer feedback. Even to the point, like, it's so smart that we have bike racks on all of our bikes, so the bikes aren't in the way when you're loading the bikes on and off the boats. But that was based on customer feedback that they wanted to bring bikes and have it easily come on and off the boat. So it is very, very smartly designed. And every nook and cranny is storage or has been thought through to make sure it maximizes the space while you're on the boat.
Okay, so we're at just 8:01, and I think we kind of wanted to keep it to that, just under that hour. So I really want to thank everybody. If you have more questions, either phone me at that number, text me at that number. You can email us, get a hold of your consultant, okay? And we'll get back to you and get you all the information you need. And I'd like to see a few of you out this summer and out and about on the boat.
And as Elliot said, you won't get a better deal if you book with us. He actually has the best pricing in the market today with the exclusive offer, and we'll always make sure that anybody from Elliot's team is getting the best rates. So be sure you book with Elliot and his team. He has had over 20 of his sales team also come and tour the boats, experience the boats. So they are very, very knowledgeable about our boats, and probably the most knowledgeable travel agents in Ontario, and have really experienced our boats way more than any other travel agent in the market as well.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. Thank you very, very much. And don't forget, you know, we don't do this. We do anything Expedia, we do it. And if you're thinking of any travel, you need to be thinking now. The rush is coming. We're already feeling it. There's a couple of franchise partners here, and they would tell you that we're not surprised, but 2022 and 23 is just filling up. So if you're thinking of something, start working on it now. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week till we talk to you again.